Welcome to Withdraw Consent. I'm Jack. Okay, this is an interesting story, right? And it's pretty silly. I'll just be honest with you. My wife doesn't think I should run this story, but I think it's interesting, and I'm gonna run it. You tell me in the comments if you think she was right or I was right. Anyways, but basically, it's a story from 2020. It was covered in the Washington Post, but also in the Times of Israel. I'll put the Times of Israel page up on the screen. But the one I'm gonna use for the reference below is going to be the WAPO story because they're the ones who broke the story. And so that's kind of the original. And it's coming to you on a Wayback Machine, so you can access it without having to pay there if you hit the link in the description. So you don't got to pay for service, right? And basically, just to give you a brief overview, anybody who comes as a diplomat and you come and you stay at the White House for a couple days, whatever, you get free laundry service, But nobody brings bags and suitcases of dirty laundry to be cleaned by the White House except for Benjamin Netanyahu, right? And I heard Jimmy Dore say this, and he's like, just Google it. And I'm like, I got to Google this. Anyways, now I'm going to tell you the whole story, but I'm just going to tell you where I think this story is interesting, right? It's interesting because if my country was better than yours and I was coming to your White House, I wouldn't bring my dirty laundry. If my country was the same as yours, I wouldn't bring my dirty laundry. If my country was beneath yours, I'm definitely not bringing my dirty laundry. Like, this happens to zero politicians unless the difference between a Jew and a Goy is farther than the distance between a Goy and a dog. So, like, when you look down on a dog, that's the exact same. It's farther than that distance is what a Jew looks down on a Goy. So the only time you can get in this crazy situation where you're just bringing suitcases and bags of laundry for the White House to press for you and all that and clean and press is because of your perceived superiority. And it has to be so far superior because my country is slightly better than yours. I mean, I'm good enough. My country's good enough to do my own laundry. I'm not bringing my laundry to you, even though my country is better than yours, So I think it's pretty insane. This is why I think the value is. The wife disagrees. I'm interested in hearing what you have to say. Let's cover the story. It's not going to take long. So it's from the WAPO article. Over the years, this 2020, I'm sorry, I got to interject because they're going to talk about protests going on this year with Netanyahu. They're referring to 2020, okay? Over the years, the Israeli leader has developed a reputation among the staff at the U.S. president's guest house for bringing special cargo on his trips to Washington. Bags and suitcases full of dirty laundry, according to U.S. officials familiar with the matter. The clothes are cleaned for the prime minister free of charge by the U.S. staff, a perk that is available to all foreign leaders, but sparingly taken advantage of given the short stays of busy heads of state. And then also, like, it goes on, I'm not going to put it on screen, but it says, like, it'll be like one or two shirts. If they really need something, like there's multiple spills and it's like, man, I've got all these different engagements, they'll send over a couple of shirts. It's not bags and bags of laundry. Okay. From the article, the Netanyahus are the only ones who, there's a quote, the Netanyahus are the only one who bring actual suitcases of dirty laundry for us to clean, end quote, said one U.S. official who, like others, spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss the details of a foreign leader's visit. Quote, after multiple trips, it became clear this was intentional, end quote. Okay. And then from Netanyahu's side, Israel officials denied that Netanyahu overuses his American host laundry service, calling the allegations, quote, absurd, end quote. But they acknowledged that he has been the target of laundry related accusations in the past, right? Seriously. He's been the target of laundry-related accusations in the past. Let's do this. In 2016, Netanyahu sued his own office and Israel's attorney general in an effort to prevent the release of his laundry bills under the country's Freedom of Information Act. The judge sided with Netanyahu, and the details of his laundry bills remain secret pending an appeal in the Supreme Court. He sued his own office and Israel's attorney general. So that is, okay, so then there's also laundry stuff. This is insane that we're talking about laundry, right? But check this out. There's also laundry stuff in relation to his corruption charges back from then. So if you remember before October 7th, we're in 2023 now. We're pre-October 7th. Remember, there's like big, huge protests in the streets and there's corruption charges against Netanyahu, right? So this is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the ones in 2020, And there's probably many more behind that. But anyways, basically, it says this. The relatively minor accusation joins a longer list of corruption allegations that have threatened the 70-year-old leader's hold on power and triggered protests in Israel this month, 2020. Netanyahu was indicted in November in a corruption trial involving gifts from wealthy friends and allegations that he sought regulatory benefits for media magnates in return for positive coverage. He is accused of accepting nearly $200,000 worth of gifts from business executives, including cases of champagne and boxes of cigars. The trial opened in May and is scheduled to resume in January. So later on in this article, it basically talks about a guy testified about him and how he he basically used funds that he wasn't supposed to do in Israel to do his laundry, just to do all of his laundry. Like, the guy has money, right? He's got money. He can pay for his own laundry, but he's such a, what's a word for somebody who's just really stingy with, I don't know. Anyways, he's such a one of those that he doesn't want to pay with his own cash. So he literally has a corruption. It's a minor part of a corruption case, right? A minor part is that he did this, which is a crime. There's much bigger stuff he's doing, obviously, from that article you can see. I think it's interesting, right? And I'm just going to go back to what I said in the beginning, right? Only a Jew with their relation to their psychological relation to a Goy, where they think they're so far incredibly superior, right, that they would ever deem to do this, because this action would be beneath 100% of humans who aren't Jewish on this planet. Nobody would do this. There's no narcissist. There's nobody who would do this, right? I mean, if you brought a homeless guy to the White House guest house and his clothes stank and he's like, no, I clean my own clothes. You know what I mean? I'm cool. I don't need your help. Do you know what I mean? Like, who would? Okay, so I think it's interesting. I'm interested in the comments. But interesting or not interesting, even if you don't want to leave a comment, just put interesting or not interesting, because I want to see if the wife was right. I thought it was great because of the Goy stuff and the psychology behind Talmud and stuff like that. Anyways, that's what I got for you. Pretty silly story to end the week with. Important one for Monday. Silly one for Thursday. Hope to see you next week.